Hi everybody, this is Ellie and I'm here with Patrick for this nice juicy start of our day, I would say. That can be also the start of our challenge. Today we're gonna move more holistically, different holistic movements, incorporating three of my favorite things: shakes, waves, and also we will have cars, control articulated rotation. So this type of movement are always super nice, no matter where you are in your practice, no matter which time of the day it is, they are always like super suitable. And I would say also that can be something that you incorporate also into your morning routines, or when you're traveling at the airport. Why not, when you have to let go of some stickiness there? So make sure to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Insta, and let's start. For today, we will mostly stay standing. So for shakes, I always tell you, like, kind of keep the feet slightly apart. Knees are slightly bent so that you can have this rebouncing effect. I saw sometimes when I teach shakes, people are really jumping. This one is not the scope of the shake today. Maybe we can add little jumps after to activate. But these shakes are mainly focused on let go of anything that is like there lingering into your body, or it simply feels a little bit stiff. So you can use any music that suggests to you a little bit of the bounce. And then you can start gently to invite the bounce in. So just feel slightly the knees bending. The arms should feel like super soft. I would say like you can gently also kind of round your spine. Imagine your arms like being wet noodle or like wet spaghetti, like overcooked spaghetti. And you want just to feel the bounce. Now, I always say it's something that you can extend to 3-4 minutes, changing the speed. And you can always, for example, taking circle with your head as you're there. I personally like to bring one ear towards one shoulder and lean in that direction. So almost if I feel an extra loose up of the shoulder. And then I will bring myself back to center, opposite shoulder, again, lean in that direction. Kind of let that part loosen it up, and you keep shaking, feeling like yourself maybe rounding. Maybe open the chest towards the sky, keep shaking. Feeling like kind of letting go of everything that you're carrying around. This can be very nice also after an intense training. Like after an intense meeting, sometimes some people request us after to shake to bring the peace back in our lives. And after, if you want, you can start to kind of move the hips, inviting a shake and inviting the arms. So moving by simply initiate with the hips, the shake, and then the arms will move along. Feeling like really you're letting go, like really rounding and sending the arms out. Maybe they're even clapping your shoulder. Like a little bit of this imaginary, I would say, of a boxer, right? That is losing up. And when you really start to indeed slow down the motion, relax the shake, and bring yourself back to standing. And take a moment here to notice. Notice the sensation, notice how you feel. When you're ready on the next inhalation, come on toes. And we will have a little bounce, but on toes now. Working on our plasticity actually, and if you do a lot of yoga, probably you don't bounce a lot. You forget like that is pretty good for you actually. Maybe moving one foot back and one foot forward, switching. Keep bouncing. Ooh. Just bringing that kind of cardio up, feeling also the calves. Patrick is hiding the hips. If you want, you can keep the hips linear. Keep moving. And maybe coming back, feet bouncing. Imagine every time you bounce, you let go of something, or you feel every time you bounce a little bit more joyful. And then start to slow down gently, reduce the bounce. And again, notice, maybe you feel your calves are like, whew, something happened in the last minute. All right, now that we activate the legs, so we feel like this nice, I say like flickery and sparks in our legs, we'll move to our spine. For today, we will do like 4 types of waves, sorry, we will exclude some. But if you struggle a lot with spinal waves, because it feels like weird, my recommendation would be start from a forward fold and start to bring yourself up. Chin to chest, opening, and then you fold again, you round, and maybe you fold a little bit less. And then again, chin to chest, you push your hips forward, round the shoulder blades back, and you fold and you are a little bit higher. And then you keep coming up and up. Maybe now this time you fold the hands on top of the thighs, and you round. Maybe this time they're almost at your hips, and now you feel this hip leading spinal wave. And then once you integrate spinal waves into your practice, I would say the thing that is more interesting is like how you can make them way more controlled. The arms are just following the movement of your spine, so you don't have any tension into the arms. And if you feel like sometimes you lose the balance, is totally fine. As you notice, like sometimes if you want to accentuate some parts, you will shift the weight more forward and back like I did before. Try to keep the weight well distributed between your feet. Now, this is our hip leading spinal waves. Now we move towards the chest, or like we say, head leading. Always like to think about a reverse motion. So I start to move again to neutral spine. Imagine I have a wall in front of me, and I want to bring the forehead, nose, chin, chest, rib cage, and hips towards this wall, like Patrick is doing. And every time I touch the wall, it's almost like, whoosh, I'm moving back. So it's almost like you touch, as soon as the head touch, it moves back. As soon as the chest touch, it moves back, and so forth. So it's almost like, and again, once you find a little bit more control, arms are just capillary, or something that they are there. Or ancillary, I would say so in English. So they are there, but they don't play a big part. They follow again the movement of the spine. Try to avoid to arch too much forward. Imagine again that you are between 2 plates or 2 walls. So you don't want really to have this sensation of really moving forward too much. This one are spectacular, to say the least. Every time you feel like a little bit more stiff, even if you're at the desk, you can stand up, or if your boss is not into spinal waves, you can go to the toilet and give yourself a little bit of waving here and there. And there is no good wave, not bad wave to do it, as long as you try to feel. I like to imagine myself like with a finger going through my spine, and as I go down, I kind of switch on and illuminate each vertebra. So it's almost like I'm passing my finger on a piano, and I want every sound to be played. When you already come back to center, now we will move towards what are called, I would say, they are more requesting us to move onto one plane only, and they are hip leading and head leading as well, but instead to waving in this direction, we will more waving onto the side. So what happened in this case, that you probably would come higher onto the foot to initiate in the direction, and it's totally fine. And sometimes we will feel, especially when he's hip leading, that the head gets forgiven. But you can imagine that again, the head is following the movement of your spine, since he's on top of your spine and it connected with part of your spine that is your cervical spine. So when you're ready, we start with head leading, slightly bent in the knees, because nobody wants to feel like Pinocchio, very stiff. He wanted to be a real boy, right? So we are real boys and girls, so let's stay like this. And then you want to move the head first. Then the chest follow in the right direction in this case. And then what you will find is that the hip will move on the right as last. And you will continue to wave towards the right and the left. Gently bending the knees, initiating the movement from the head. And I always say, like, when you do these kind of waves, right? You're moving between right and left. It feels like if you're vibing to a very good music. Like, wow. It's like, this is the music I love. And you feel like very, very kind of inspired by the music. And you continue to move. Because it's a nice music, but it's not too fast. It's almost like when you listen in a very nice ballad. And you keep breathing, of course. When you're ready, we will reverse the movement and invite the hips. Of course, you can prolong this movement as much as you want, especially if they do something for you. Again, the hips stay into neutral, central, not inching back or forward, and then we will move towards a hip leading. So what happens is that we will pop the hip first, then the rib cage, the chest and the head will lean in that direction, and then the hip will pop. So imagine that is now the hip initiating. So you're vibing, but now it's like your hips are vibing to the music. So maybe it's more like, you know, a music that comes from the south of the world, where the hips indeed are requested to move. So don't lean too much. It's really the hip moving. And this one can change, because for some of us this motion can be super easy, and for some of us can be extremely difficult because they are small, gentle, controlled, and we have the sensation sometimes that we have to overdo them. Last couple of rounds. I say like this one is like, it can be good in the morning, this class can be good in the evening, can be good before dinner, because this is all holistic movements. Alrighty. When you're ready, bring yourself back to center. Take a notice now to your spine. I know it feels weird, but take notice. You might feel like a little bit more activated now into the spine as well. Last but not least for today, cars. The most, I would say, famous one, shoulder and hip cars. We will do them also standing. So today is like to make it really accessible. Again, if you see us traveling, sometimes we will see us in the airport doing this kind of stuff. Or if you're inside, or if you're inside a plane, sometimes we will see, like, just to reactivate the body, right? So shoulder cars, they move through the four, I will say, position of the shoulders that we know that are like linked to the cars movement, especially because shoulder can do a little bit more than just four positions. But you want to, or full movement, sorry. We want to send the shoulder down like Patrick is doing now. This one is called a depression. We send the arms forward and we push it forward, like if you're reaching for something, keeping the neutral spine, and this one is called a protraction, and then you will send it towards the ear, and you will elevate, like if he's reaching for a very far away light bulb, he will bring the palm out and circle it all the way back, bringing the shoulder in a slight retraction until the back of the hand reaches towards the side of the hip, reversing. Yes, and then as soon as he hit towards the sky, he will send the palm again towards the inside, elevate, protract, and depress down. We will do just 3 times per side, meaning that you want really to stop to each of these movements, something that gets very frequently, I see in class, that people rush through. Depression gets frequently forgotten. So, and if you notice that when you retract, your arm is out, it's okay, you know, so it takes time. So when you already send the arms down, we start with the right, deep press, forward, protract, up, elevate, flip the palm and retract. I like to place the hands onto my rib cage so that I can check where I'm moving. And then we reverse the movement. As I told you, just 3 times. As soon as you eat up, elevate, palms in, forward, protract, down, deep press. Again, forward, protract, arms up, elevate, arms, hands towards the rib cage for your retraction. Imagine that you're moving through honey or like a very resistant liquid. And when you already come back up, breathe in, arms up, flip and elevate, front, protract, down, deep press. Last one. So move, we start already from depression, we move into protraction, we then transition elevation, we flip the palm and all the way back to retraction. And then we move back up. We find the same. Up, elevate, front, protract, down, deep press. Changing the sides. Again, I like to place the hands on the rib cage to avoid myself to opening. Can be a nice suggestion for you, especially if it's the first time you do those. When you're down, deep press, protract, elevate, flip, and this one can be a different experience, your retraction here. Different arms, different journey. And then we bring ourselves back up. In retraction, we elevate, we protract, and we deep press. Last 2, deep press, protract, don't forget the depression, and flip. Breathe in, come up, arrive on top, elevate and flip the palm, protract in front, deep press at the bottom, back in, deep press, protract, elevate, flip and retract. This is your last round. Should feel like super nice in the shoulders and back up. Again, elevate, protract and deep press. Shake it a bit. Now hips. Normally I will also cue these things on tabletop because what happens with hips, sometimes we compensate. So you see when people do cars, the hips are going every direction. So I trust you that you will keep a little bit of check on yourself. So place the hands on top of your left hip, bring the right knee in front of you, 90-degree angle with the knee and with the ankle. And then we open, we external rotate, like fire hydrant. So this is the first space where the hip wants to play smart, or we compensate. So then you flip, internally rotate the knee down. Look what happens to your lower back. And then join the knees together. And then do it by opening again. Find an activation outside of the right hip. Fire hydrants, the heel moves forward. And then you bring the knee towards the front. And again, the knees join down. We do it another time. Here. Open. Turn. And join, open, turn, up and down, last round, in, open, rotate, join, bring it back up, flip, front and down. We change just the side. You might notice that probably the opposite leg is pretty tired as well because it has to keep you up. So again, ground the right foot, left knee into the chest, externally rotate. Again, pay attention to your right hip, what it's doing. Internally rotate, avoid from popping your buttocks out and bring the knees together. Open, flip and bring back up and down. Last 2, at your own tempo. Breathe in, flip, front, and down. Last. And down. Bring both feet together. Congratulations, you finished the first day. Just be aware that these are movements that can be applied in anything you do, not necessarily just yoga, but in any other movement. The scope is just to activate our body, bring some holistic and good juice in so that we can feel ready for any activities, even if it means for you that you have to go for a run. So it doesn't have to be necessarily something exclusively applied to any yoga specific practice. I want to thank you for being with me today. Patrick, thank you for taking the, I would say, the chance to join. Yeah. And let us know if you liked it. So just subscribe, comment. Don't forget to let us know that you are joining in. And I will see you the next time. Bye.